Well, you know, this class may be a little spooky for you. Some people are a little uh, threatened by the idea of taking this book. 66 books in this Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, and 39 of those are in the Old Testament. And here we are entering into a study of those 39 books, the Old Testament. We're doing it right here in my kitchen, by the way. I wish you were here so I could offer you a little coffee. Sorry, I can't do that. You know, in my 15 years of working with Northwest Christian College, now university, I've often asked students, on a regular basis, I've asked students, what is the plot of the Bible? You know, if you had an Agatha Christie book or Into the Wild or whatever book you like to read, you'd have a plot. And so I've asked students, what is the plot of this Bible? And I seldom get anywhere near what I would call a satisfactory answer. So you're in luck, because I'm going to help you see the plot of the Bible, how it all fits together. In fact, I make an offer to people. I say, if you will give me 3 hours so that I can tell you 3 stories, the Abraham story, the Moses story. Now that story is really the Israel story, but I use Moses because he's the main character. The Abraham story, the Moses, Israel story, and the Jesus story. And if we can put those 3 stories together, if we can put them together, we can get the gist of the Bible. And you will know more about how the Bible fits together. Then I'm going to say 85 or 95% of the people that I know. Most people just don't know how it fits together. It's just too much of it's a daunting task to try to do that. So I suggest you pull out a piece of paper and take a few notes, because if I was in class with you, that's just what we'd be doing. I want to begin by saying that God, I won't say always, but almost always deals with people in a contractual manner. In the Bible it's called a covenant. A covenant. Now sometimes the word is treaty, or in Spanish is pact or pacto. Treaty, pact, contract, covenant. But I like covenant because covenant carries the idea that one person, the stronger one, God, offers to us a covenant, and he promises, he makes certain promises. In fact, these are the 3 ingredients. You're going to want to remember this. A covenant has parties, terms, and promises. Now, if you're in a rental agreement or with your home, or you're buying a car, we all do this. We get into contracts, and the parties, that's the first part, parties answers the question, who is in this deal? Terms has to do with conditions or stipulations. That little word, if. God says to Adam and Eve, if you will not eat of that tree, if. Parties, terms, promises. The promises are consequences. Sometimes the consequences are negative, sometimes they're positive. You know, I say to one of my kids, well, they're out of the house now, but let's say back in the time when they were at home, I say, Lori Joe, if you'll clean up your room, I'll take you to the Dairy Queen. Parties, Dad, Lori Joe. If, clean up your room, that's the terms, I'll take you to the Dairy Queen. Now with God, he has positive consequences and negative. Positive consequences are called blessings. Negative consequences are called curses. So, as we read the Abraham story, there's a covenant involved there. You'll see it in chapters 12, 13, 14, 15, especially 12 and 15 of the book of Genesis. You have the parties, terms, promises. When you come to the covenant with Israel, found there in Exodus chapter 24, that's where it's ratified. You have parties, you have terms, you have promises. The terms are obey the law. I'm giving you a head start on this because the law had 613 rules and regulations, or little laws. So for Israel, it was God and the nation of Israel obey these laws, 613. And what are the consequences? Well, there are positive consequences called blessings. Read about this in Deuteronomy chapter 28. There are positive consequences such as your crops will be strong, your children will be strong. I think of the 5 C's in the country, the city, your crops, your cattle, your children. You're going to win when you go to war. You'll be the head and not the tail. You'll be the top, not the bottom. You will loan money, but you won't have to borrow it. See, that's the old covenant sort of in a capsule. I hope this is helping you. See, Deuteronomy 28 is where you find that. And then as you move further along, you come to the new covenant. And that's more about BTH 102. But you know, the interesting thing is that Jesus actually lived under the old covenant. It wasn't abolished. It didn't end. It wasn't retired until he died on the cross. So he actually lived under the old covenant. So those are the 3 covenants: Abraham, Israel, Moses, and the new covenant. And our class is going to deal with the first 2. So I made a couple notes to myself. I want to make sure I don't overlook anything on this. That's the main thing I want to say in this is covenant is the form, the means by which God has a relationship with man, whether it's Adam and Eve, whether it's Abraham, the days of Moses, or even now in this age, the new covenant, which we'll talk about another time. So I hope you've taken a couple notes. Maybe look at this again, because this is the center of our study, is looking at these 2 powerful covenants found in what we call the Old Testament. And these are going to come into our discussions over and over. Thank you much. Good luck as you study this.